we don't care if you do drugs or drink
honestly.
or smoke. Whatever. We just care if you got to do it responsibly, right? Don't
we
drink
care about
and drive.
your health. Yeah.
Don't,
oh God.
Yeah. Don't, use safe practices, with whatever drug you use, even caffeine, don't overdo it. So you're like in the emergency room with a arrhythmia because you drank 4 bangs in a day.
Yes.
We
care about your health.
We care about your health.
Not in a judgy way.
We're not judging. And that's the whole point of these episodes is to kind of not only highlight, kind of like the uphill battle that ADHD has with substance use, but also to just kind of share in more of like a matter of factual way, as well as like personal experiences with some things. Just struggles and effects.
Allow you to make informed choices for yourself.
Exactly.
They said that we'd grow out of it. Well, the joke's on them, that's just our brains. We're eccentric, loud, and stubborn. And most of our clothing is covered in stains. It's not a deficit of attention. There's just too much to think about. So if executive dysfunction becomes a little too much, if you forgot why you came in this room, or you're hypersensitive to touch, then put on your seamless socks and come join our little flock. Bitches stimming together, we're weirds of a feather. Weirds of a feather. Ah!
Caw-caw! All right, we're rocking and rolling.
We're cruising, we're rocking, we're rolling.
And we're ready.
Welcome to Weirds of a Feather, an AuDHD-Adjacent podcast.
Yep.
I'm your host, Kristin Stanhope.
I'm your host, Grace Bray.
And welcome.
Welcome to Do Like Such a Perfect Time. Here we have some rules, let us lay them down.
Welcome to a meat episode.
Yeah.
Bow, bow, bow. Kind of a sadder one, but that's kind of been the trend of recent. But
Kristin loves to do bummer episodes.
Yeah, I'm really, if you need a bummer episode, I'm your girl.
Yep.
And no change here. We're talking about bummer stuff. But first, I got to warm up.
All right.
Because we were talking about RFK.
Yes. Our favorite
brainworm infested
ambassador.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A known conspiracy theorist.
But not the fun kinds.
Yeah.
The kind of like eugenics kinds.
So not only was I watching a lot of TikToks who were talking about this, but I was thinking about like fun conspiracy theories. And like what's a little conspiracy theory that you fully believe in that's fun?
I fully believe that there are aliens walking amongst us. Who are just like wearing human flesh suits and are like functioning members of our society. Like, I don't know if they are bad or good necessarily. I believe that they are here. And that doesn't go down the road of like lizard people, because that's very tied into like anti-Semitism. The whole lizard people thing.
Yeah.
It's like weirdly anti-Semitic. I'm not talking about that.
Weird. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it is anti-Semitic.
Yeah.
Just so you guys know. But not lizard people, aliens.
Like grays.
Like extraterrestrials.
They're just hiding as humans, or are they in their alien bodies?
They're hiding as humans. Like they're just kind of amongst us day to day. And I think they've been here for probably decades. So that's kind of the one I'm going with.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I like that.
What's yours?
I think that the like antivirus computer programs that you get, like Norton antivirus, McAfee.
Well, that guy's a piece of shit. McAfee. He's got like a whole crazy story of like,
I had no idea.
I don't know if he was like defrauding people. I gotta look it up as you're talking, because he did like something really crazy.
I fully believe that all those programs just give your computer viruses.
Yes,
and
they do.
It's all like a setup. But yet somehow, like every time you buy a new computer, it comes with like a free trial of like Norton antivirus, and then it expires, and then you go to buy more. And when you buy more, it just like programs viruses into your computer.
I agree.
I fully believe it. I've never had an issue with my computer without. Yeah.
Let's see. All right. John McAfee. Yeah, he came up with the antivirus software. He apparently is a 2-time presidential candidate who unsuccessfully sought the Libertarian Party nomination in 2016 and 2020.
The Libertarian.
Wow. Classic.
All right.
A Republican who just doesn't want to say he's a Republican because he thinks he's smarter than Republicans is really what a Libertarian is. Yeah, so he came up with the McAfee antivirus software in 1987.
Jesus. Were computers even around then?
They were, but like very early on. And then he resigned in 1994, sold his remaining stake in the company, and then he became the company's most vocal critic in later years, urging consumers to uninstall the company's antivirus software, which he characterized as bloatware. So he kind of created this thing where it essentially like fills, like you're talking about, where it fills your computer with
viruses
stuff you don't really need.
So then you have to go buy more virus protection.
Or maybe not even necessarily
to get rid of the viruses.
Viruses are just like a lot of clutter, even if it's not straight up
to slow down your computer.
Yeah. I mean, I believe it. And so does the guy who started this whole thing.
Yeah, but he's a libertarian, so I don't really trust him.
And also I think he he ran away to Belize. He was wanted. He resided for multiple years in Belize, but returned to the United States in 2013 while wanted in Belize for questioning on suspicion of murder.
Oh, wait a minute. I feel like this is a Patreon in the making.
Right? This guy's fascinating in like the worst way. He was a vocal advocate for privacy and personal freedom, central to his libertarian campaigns. He opposed government surveillance and supported cryptocurrency as a way to reduce state control over financial systems. He framed his legal issues, including tax evasion charges, as resistance to unjust government overreach. I love that. I love when they just like don't want to participate in general society, kind of like
but they're going to use our roadways and everything.
They think that taxes are unconstitutional, but then they want to use all the stuff that taxes pay for. It's like, none of us like are psyched about taxes, right? But we also want to have public education and like roads, and like the post office, like unfortunately you have to pay taxes. They're like sovereign citizens.
I was just about to bring that up. The sovereign citizens.
Like really, what is the difference between an American libertarian and a sovereign citizen?
Because let us know at Where's the Feather.
They both kind of do the same thing, you know, where they believe that they can just say, I'm not a citizen of the U.S. You don't have the right to arrest me. It's like, well, you're driving on the roads and you're going around towns, which our taxes pay for. Right. So you can't just say, I'm not a citizen. I don't have to follow your laws while like participating in our society that requires you to follow laws. Go live in the fucking woods by yourself. Don't drive on our roads and then say you can't arrest me.
And order packages from Amazon.
Exactly. It's so crazy. It's so delusional. And if anyone out there is listening and you have never heard of the libertarian town in New Hampshire.
Oh, what's it
where
called?
They were, I know, I can't remember.
Not Galveston. That's in Tennessee.
Texas. That's in Texas.
No,
but there's a town.
Gatlinburg is in Tennessee.
There's a town in New Hampshire that was run by libertarians years ago. They like put a stop to the trash service because once again, they seem to have this like delusional idea that all humans could just govern themselves. It's like we can't.
No, we can't.
We don't.
That's
and
why
we can't.
Which
is why we have government, because you say personal freedoms and we'll just like everyone for themselves.
Right.
That's not how you live in a society.
That's not how society works. Yeah.
So they like put a stop to the trash
Well, they didn't want to pay, because that's like public money, right? That funds the trash waste receptacle people.
Yeah, and they felt like it was their freedom and their right to not have to pay for that, and so they don't get trash service. And then the bears moved into town because there was garbage everywhere, and then they had a huge bear problem, and the town was overrun by bears because people were like, once again, being like, well, I have the right to leave garbage and food out in my backyard. Like people
it's like
were
the perfect example of why that libertarian doesn't work.
Exactly. So if you're on the fence about like what are libertarians, what's their deal, are they really like that bad? Just look up that town. Just look up libertarian town, New Hampshire. Bears.
It's like a very like well documented case of a complete failure.
Yeah, like Parks and Rec level absurdity of like trying to self-govern but not doing anything to self-govern.
Right, because they don't believe in government, right? That's so like their whole thing.
Everyone for themselves. Yeah, that would be a great way to run a country. Anyways, we really got off track, but you know what? You've convinced me. I believe in your conspiracy as well.
Thank you.
All those
Thank you. I fully believe it. There's a couple others I fully believe in too, but like that's like the number one thing. I'm like, that is just virusware. That's what it should be called instead of antivirusware.
Yeah. Give you a bunch of virusware. I am kind of starting to think more about the conspiracy that like humans in the past, in history, invented all this crazy technology. And there was this whole civilization that did live and have like AI and computers and phones, and they destroyed themselves and it was all wiped out and we would have like no record of it, you know?
Whoa. Or what if they did that and then they left Earth and now the aliens that are back are like old ancient humans.
That's even more fun.
Right? And they're like trying to be like, hey, like maybe you shouldn't cause World War III. Like,
yeah, because we see what's coming. And same with like something in the oceans. Like I believe that there was some kind of, there's
Atlantis.
Something, yeah, Atlantis, something living down there. There's like all these worlds we haven't discovered that were either like covered up or whatever, you know? Like think of how much is down there that we don't even know about.
There's so much.
There's so much.
We know more about space than the ocean.
Yeah, which is so crazy.
Crazy.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah. If you have a conspiracy theory that you fully believe.
That's not anti-Semitic and it's not racist and
like
it's
a
not
fun
like
one.
Eugenics-based RFK type.
Fun one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let us know at where'sthefeather@gmail.com. Or you can DM us. I'll probably put a poll or something. Let us know.
Yeah. Let's bring back fun, lighthearted conspiracy theories.
Exactly. It's fun to believe in things.
Yeah. As long as those beliefs aren't horrific.
Yeah.
You know?
Right?
I want to believe.
I'm warm. Are you warm?
Yeah, I'm pretty warm.
I'm like very cozy right now.
I am
Although
too.
I feel like in about 10 minutes, I'm going to need to like crawl out of my skin. But here we go. Let's do little accomplishments.
Okay.
Little accomplishments, but big in our hearts. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Grace.
Yeah.
What did you accomplish?
All right. This is kind of a little accomplishment for all of us. Me, you, and Christopher, and Jamie.
And Jamie. Recommended by Jamie.
Yes. I'm like hesitant to talk about it too much because I don't want to do the thing where I talk about it. And I'm like, all right, well, now I've accomplished it. So now I don't have to keep doing that.
People who are, let's talk about it. Because
I'm going to talk about
like
it.
a very much like body doubling, but also gamifying.
Yeah, kind of.
And self-care.
So,
and unsponsored.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, this is like
totally
all our stuff. This is not sponsored.
It's not sponsored. We just like it.
Yeah.
We got an app.
But our friend / listener / guest, former guest on the podcast, Jamie, you guys know and love Jamie, has told us about this wonderful habit tracking app, which normally I do not like because they're either too boring or they're like way too involved or they're just like, I don't know, not my cup of tea, and I have never really taken to any of them.
It's also like people who are like, you should journal every day. Yeah. That's how I feel about I feel the same way I feel about people who are telling me to journal every day.
Yeah. It's like, well, it's not going to happen.
It's not happening.
So I don't know what to tell you.
Who are recommending habit tracking things.
Yeah, it just sounds so boring and dry. But Jamie told us about this amazing habit tracking app called Finch. And it is very gamified. It's very fun. I feel like it has
it's adorable.
Yeah, I feel like it has the perfect combo of like being a bit of a game, but also tracking your habits. And you earn points for all your habits, and you can like have little communities, like little friendships with each other, and like encourage each other. You can have shared goals. Like you and I have been working on a shared goal of no TikTok for the first hour of the day. Christopher and I were working on a shared goal of like take a 5-minute stretch break every day.
Nice.
And you can like send each other kudos or send each other encouragement.
Or hugs.
Yeah. Send each other hugs. You get to like buy little outfits in the shops. And
you have like a little, I don't want to say an avatar, but you have like a little bird that you take care of, right?
Yeah, you have like a micro pet.
Yes. And your micro pet can also have micro pets.
Yeah, and you can hatch new micro pets.
And you can like develop your little bird guy.
Yeah.
As you complete your self-care tasks.
Yeah, they grow up and they learn things and they go on adventures.
They don't do it unless you complete your self-care tasks.
Yes.
Like washing your face in the morning.
Yeah.
Or getting out of bed.
Yeah, and you can make them like super easy and
like getting out of bed.
Yeah. And that's a great one to start the day with.
Yeah.
And it's like really positive and encouraging. And I also like love to buy the little outfits, and you have like a little home that you can decorate and buy different furniture and sell your furniture. It's just kind of, I'm really liking it so far.
And I'm loving it.
It's like the perfect level of motivation and the perfect level of like gamifying it and making me like look forward to it. But it's also like you do have to earn the points in order to buy little things.
Right.
So that motivates me, where I'm like getting my tasks done on purpose just so I can earn points and then get this new outfit or whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you can also like It's also like a bit of social media because you can make friends.
Yeah.
So if you want to be on our friends on Finch, let us know.
Yeah. I don't know how you would find us
I don't know.
on there. But if you're on there, let us know.
And
we'll
be friends.
We can add you.
Have like habits together.
Yeah.
We can get out of bed together or something.
Yeah.
That's my favorite one because it's so easy.
Yeah, that is an easy one. You can like.
But sometimes it's not, right?
Yeah. Some of them are kind of trickier.
And then you can have like other, like there's this whole other section where you can have like a reflection zone or you can start a timer. It has like a thing to start timers.
Yeah, there's like strategies for helping you do like self-care
There's like
stuff.
A crisis area where like if you're having like a really hard day, it has like breathing exercises you can do. Which
like
is really
soundscapes.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah.
I really love it.
Yeah, I'm really loving it so far. So check it out if you guys are kind of in the market for tracking your habits in some way without having it be like this kind of really boring spreadsheet style, like achievement based thing. Gamify it and make it a little fun.
Right. And now you're like responsible for like basically a Tamagotchi.
Yeah. Yeah. It feels like an advanced Tamagotchi.
On how well you're doing with taking care of yourself.
Yeah. It's like you are the Tamagotchi and you have to do these tasks in real life. And then you get points for doing all your little tasks. Yeah. And then you get to grow your little avatar Tamagotchi. Yeah.
It's really cool.
Yeah. So check it out.
Finch I really enjoy it. Yeah. Thank you, Jamie, for recommending that. Yes. I'm really enjoying it.
Thank you, Jamie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whenever anyone recommends a habit tracking app to me, I'm like, ugh, okay.
Yeah.
But I checked it out and I was like, you know what? She's right. This is delightful.
And then I said, if Grace can do it, then maybe I should check it out because if she can do it, then I could definitely do it.
Yes. You got that right. And you are.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm really enjoying it.
Yeah.
I got my little guy.
Yeah. I love my little guy.
Yeah.
My guy's name is Noodle.
My guy is named Arlo.
Yeah, I like that name.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can check us out on Finch.
Yeah.
Let's be friends.
Yeah.
Let's start good habits together.
Yeah.
Yay.
Yeah, we can help each other and encourage each other. And I never lie. Like if I don't do my goal, I'll be sad about it, but I won't lie.
Don't lie.
So don't lie.
Don't lie.
You got to be honest with yourself. Yeah.
Did you not do? And you can skip tasks too, which is nice.
Oh yeah, I don't do all of my tasks every day.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's my accomplishment.
Nice.
Kristin, what did you accomplish?
I found it's not a new show, but it's new to us.
Ooh, what is it?
That Christopher and I are watching. It's called Los Spookies.
Oh.
It's been out for a while. I think there's like 2 or 3 seasons.
Is it cartoon?
No, it's real people. It has that guy. Who's the guy from Armiston? Fred Armiston?
Fred Armisen?
Mm-hmm. Has him in it and someone else who's like in a bunch of stuff. It's like pretty adorable.
Los Spookies?
Los Spookies. It's mostly in Spanish and it has subtitles, but it takes place like between Mexico and LA, so it goes back and forth. So it has like lots of subtitles.
You said Fred Armisen is in this?
Yeah. And it's about this like group of people who put on like spooks, I guess. Like
I have heard of this
It's like adorable.
Yeah.
It's
John Early is in it. I love John Early. He is so funny.
Show me a picture.
He's the blonde guy, this guy.
Oh, yeah. He's
one
really
of my
funny.
favorite comedians.
Yeah, it's like, it came out a while ago. I think I saw like the first couple of episodes by myself, like way back. But yeah, usually Christopher picks the shows that we watch because I just don't know what's out there. But I was like reminded of that this show existed. And I think it's just like such a weird, it's such a, like a quirky show, I guess. And it's so odd. I think it's just like very well done and just like kind of like just funny.
I'll check it out.
You should check it out. It's like not like I just think it's just kind of funny.
All right.
If you do have a hard time with subtitles, because like when they're speaking English, there's Spanish subtitles, and when they're speaking Spanish, there's English subtitles. So it's just if you have a hard time with that, but I always have subtitles on, so it's never an issue.
Same.
But yeah, I think it's really funny.
All right. Fred Armisen does the most random projects.
It's so random.
He does the most random stuff.
But it's like, I feel like this could also be for your NDTV because I feel like all those characters are like so neurodivergent.
Of course.
Especially Tati. There's a one called Tati.
All right. I'll check it out.
Yeah.
I love a new show.
Yeah.
Have you watched that show? Maybe it's called Ghosts on Amazon. I think there's like 3 seasons now.
Is it funny?
Yeah, it is very funny. It's about this couple that inherits an old mansion and it's haunted by a bunch of ghosts who like all died in there from different eras. There's like a Viking who's been there forever, and then there's like an indigenous man who died next, and there's a woman from like the 1600s or whatever. They have a great cast.
That's really
and
funny.
It's really fun. Yeah. So check out that one too. It sounds like kind of somewhat in the same category of like, yeah, it's not like straight up like The Office type funny, but it's a nice like community show, I guess.
Yeah.
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 All right. 2 new shows.
Sweet.
Great.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you've seen those shows, let us know. Where's a feather?
Yeah.
Or if you have like a good, like fun. So I feel like per usual, my like mental sanity is on thin ice.
Same. I am struggling lately.
I am struggling.
I keep being like, what is wrong with me? Like, why can't I get anything done lately? Like, I'm just really like not with it. I'm always on TikTok. I'm just like spacing out. I feel so unmotivated. It's like, oh yeah, our country's in like, full-blown fascism.
Oh, for sure.
And people are being like hunted down by the Gestapo outside our doors.
Basically.
I wonder why I can't focus.
Yeah. Is it
such a mystery?
Yeah. So weird that you're like constantly in this fight or flight and you can't get anything done. But
right? I'm also convinced that my ADHD meds like just aren't working anymore. Which they have some newish studies that have come out that show if you are a person who gets your period during certain aspects of your cycle, your meds literally are not working. So like it
is a topic I would like to cover.
I would
like,
as well.
Hormones and ADHD meds and uteri.
Take my uteri, please. Get it out of my body.
Put it in a little jar.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be cute.
Make a snow globe out of it.
Oh. Should we? Should we do that?
People ask for their body parts all the time. I don't think...
Can you have them? I think you can, right?
You have to fill out a bunch of paperwork. This just came up. Okay, if you were getting like your gallbladder out and you want it back, the amount of paperwork you have to fill out, because it's like a biohazard thing.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And the other thing is like when they take a body part out, they usually send it for testing to look for like atypical cells that could be cancer or precancerous. So if you want your gallbladder back, you can't have that testing done, which is probably pretty important to get that test done.
Yeah.
So I would say leave the gallbladders with the biohazard people, with the pathologist.
If I had like a finger taken or something, I would want that finger or toes.
Yeah.
Fingers and toes would be a nice mantelpiece. I guess the question is, why
are you getting your finger amputated?
Exactly. Yeah, I guess.
So, like, because if it's a dead finger, that's not a finger you want.
No, you don't think?
If it's a rapidly progressing infected dead finger.
Yeah. You don't think I could like put it in a jar with the chemicals to like have stuff, what's it called? Where you have the stuff.
Formaldehyde.
Yeah.
Not if it's like grossly infected.
It would like continue to rot away, you think?
Probably, yeah.
Oh, shoot.
I don't think it would do well.
All right, what if I'm just getting my finger amputated for fun?
For fun? Probably that would be all right. Yeah.
Yeah? Put it in a jar? Okay. Yeah. All right.
Yeah, so if you're having that amputated for funsies, sure.
All right, I'll keep that in mind.
But yeah, the little PSA. Yeah.
Too much paperwork, maybe not worth it.
Yeah, probably not worth it. Probably need those tests done. It's always good to read a pathology report that's all negative, you know.
I feel like teeth are a fun one you can ask to keep at like the dentist or something.
Yeah, that might
seems
be
like
nice.
way lower stakes.
Way lower stakes.
Yeah. They could probably just like give you a handful of teeth. You know?
It might not even be your teeth.
Yeah, just like a bucket of teeth.
You think dentists keep their people's teeth, their
Some
patients'
of them,
teeth?
I bet.
Yeah.
I probably would.
They just have like a jar of teeth or something, or they're like,
probably. Dentists are freaks.
Yeah, I feel like you got to be weird to go into certain specialties.
Right? Yeah.
Dentistry, podiatry, urology.
Butt stuff. Yeah.
Colorectal surgery, proctology.
That's what I'm thinking of.
Weird.
Ass man. Hey, ass man. Yeah. But like, I guess why? You know, what motivated you to work with the butt?
Same with the feet. Why?
Yeah. Why? We'll never know.
Anyway, we'll never know.
Right.
Let's get into this meat.
Yeah, without further ado.
It is the meat.
It is the meat.
It is meat. It meat.
Give me meat. Meat.
This meat, doozy of a meat. Let's talk about ADHD and alcohol use disorder, also known as AUD. Confusing, yes. And kind of a bummer, like almost all of our addiction episodes. It's kind of like total bummer. I thought we could start by talking about, because everybody has a different experience with alcohol. And some people really struggle. Some people it's like not effective. Some people drink. Some people don't drink. I think a lot of people have a lot of different experiences with alcohol. And I just wanted to ask you, Grace, do you drink?
I pretty much do not. I don't really drink hardly ever. Like if I'm going out to an event or something, I'll have a drink, but I rarely go out to events. So I'm drinking probably not even once a month, maybe once every 2 to 3 months, which is crazy.
Yeah. What's been your experience with alcohol like in the past?
Oh, not great.
Yeah.
I'm very sensitive to it, which didn't stop me for a while. But, because I'm a super taster, brag. I just have always had a really sensitive palate to alcohol, and I hate the taste of it. It makes me very nauseous.
Yeah. I remember the pineapple juice phase.
Oh, yeah. Whenever I would drink in college, I would take a shot of vodka and chase it with pineapple juice. You do pineapple juice, vodka, pineapple juice, plug my nose the whole time.
It was like torture for you to drink.
Oh yeah, it was terrible. Yeah. But I got through it. I got it down.
Yeah.
Yeah. I liked being drunk. Like I'm not some straight edge purist. First of all, I smoke weed all the time. So it's not like, I get high off life, Right. I just don't even need substances. No, I do. It's just not alcohol.
Yeah. Yeah. And we're definitely not here to be like, you shouldn't drink at all.
Oh yeah.
Because we both drank alcohol. And I just want to recognize that everybody has a different experience with alcohol.
Yeah. Yeah. No shame, no hate. But so I like being drunk. I think it's very fun. It's just the getting drunk part sucks when you don't like alcohol. I hate beer. Ugh.
Yeah, I'm not a big beer person.
I'm so sensitive to hard alcohol. Wine's okay. But yeah, even then I've tried for years and years and years to just get myself over the hump to be able to actually enjoy an alcoholic beverage.
Yeah.
I'd literally rather just have a soda, honestly.
Yeah.
Unless I'm drinking to get drunk.
Right.
But just going out to dinner, I'm not going to get one drink.
Right.
I'm either going to have no drinks or I'm going to have 5, which maybe isn't the best, but
it's your choice.
It's not all
your
or nothing,
body. Yeah.
And in college, I definitely, especially when I studied abroad in Australia, because I was 20. And so you're underage in the U.S., but I was legal. And I had a piece of shit boyfriend my freshman year of college who didn't let me drink, which is so crazy to say that I allowed someone
a dick.
Tell me that. But, I still drank a little bit. But I didn't drink a ton freshman year or sophomore year. So then junior year, especially when I studied abroad, man, I really, really let loose. Really made up for lost time there. Had a lot of drunken nights. I throw up very easily. So that was a problem. I was doing a lot of barfing. I'm just not very good at alcohol. I get really excited about it and I'm drinking way too much, I think. So I'm not super good or responsible with it. So it's probably best if I don't for the most part.
Yeah.
And just stay home stoned on my couch instead. Yeah. Drawing weird art.
Yeah.
What about you, Kristin?
Yeah. I feel like I have a tenuous
no problems here.
Right.
No college experiences to speak on. I certainly don't have any stories about you in college.
Yeah, I feel like I have a very tenuous relationship with alcohol. I think I'm especially in college, because one, I was very sensitive to alcohol, and two, I had I would either go weeks without drinking and then just do a big in between tests, a binge drinking, big binge.
Like that time you went to the lacrosse game senior year and you came home at 2 in the afternoon.
2 in the afternoon,
you were
hammered,
blackout drunk.
Right. I felt like I was either DD or I was blackout drunk. And,
yes.
And the other thing is I get so depressed the day after. It's all encompassing. If it's more than 3 drinks, it's all consuming.
I get the anxiety. Do you get that?
It's depression, it's anxiety. It's just I feel really, really bad. And I feel like I haven't recognized that until very recently about how the next day it's not just I feel like I was up late and it's super depressed,
Yeah, that's the other thing that stopped me from drinking is my hangovers just were getting worse and worse.
Yeah.
And I would just spend all day on Sunday just in my bed feeling like absolute shit.
Yeah.
And then I discovered that weed doesn't do that to you. And so I was well, naturally, I'm just going to smoke weed instead.
Right.
So yeah, I feel paying attention to how it makes you feel the next day, the more you do that is good.
Through my 30s, my young 30s, I would still do a binge drink when I lived out in Washington, and I'd still have like a night out with friends, and I'm like, I just like had no regulation, you know? Like, I think Linda Belcher from Bob's Burgers has a great idea when you go to a party, because I like didn't know like what's one more drink, you know? Like I really want to keep this vibe going, but it's like it's almost like an exponential effect it has on me, I feel like. So it's like I'm fine, and then I'm not fine.
Yep.
And then I need to be taken care of.
Yes.
And I'm like vomiting.
You do have that.
Right?
Yeah.
It's like
where it's like, how did this even happen?
Right?
You like
it's
sneak
like
off. You used to try to sneak shots. I would tell you, don't take shots, and you would try to
Runner.
sneak them behind my back.
I'm also a runner.
Yes.
Like I'll run away.
Yes.
I'll walk wherever.
I remember, I think we were having a party at our house once, and I heard you were already drunk, and I heard you talking to someone else, and you go, don't tell Grace I'm taking a shot. I'm like, hey, I hear you, and I see you. Put it down.
Yeah, it really was. And like looking back on it, I'm like, how did I not see this? It's like awful. Like I'm not a good human.
Yeah, but think of how funny some of the stories are.
Some of the stories are pretty funny.
Kind of worth it.
I think, so Linda Belcher has a great idea. And I know that this is a cartoon, but she has like a 3-drink party rule, right? Like 1 to get buzzed, 1 to nurse, 1 you don't drink all the way. I think that's a great, it's perfect. It's perfect.
And that's usually what I end up doing.
I need a rule, right? I never had, no one, like, I think I need a good rule to drink. Right now, I'm really into, I can't believe I'm going to say this, I'm really into like, white wine.
Oh,
every once in a while.
Who are you?
Like I rarely I don't drink on the weekends. I don't drink when I'm on call, which lately has been like all the time. Or no, I don't drink on the weeknights. I do drink on the weekends and when I'm not on call, which is rare. So I think just like by default, I don't have like there's not a lot of places in my calendar to drink, you know?
Yeah, can't fit it into the schedule.
Right? I'm not a person who can like come home from work, have a couple glasses of wine, and then get up for work the next day.
God.
Like I'll have like a headache and I just feel bad, you know? And I don't know if that's just me being like old or if it's just me being like very sensitive to alcohol.
Yeah, it's probably both. Like I feel like we've always kind of had that. I just feel like, especially with ADHD, like getting stuff done day to day is already so hard. And I already have bad habits that make it harder. Like alcohol is one that I can kind of, because I don't super care about it. Like I'm so glad I don't care about alcohol, because I can't even imagine if you love that feeling. I have a very addictive personality. Like that's another reason why I don't just have like a glass of wine with dinner, because once I get into a habit, then I'm going to do it every single night.
It is
know,
really a habit for me. And it's very like social too. Like let's
especially in our
like
culture.
Drink. Yeah,
it's so normalized in our culture, and it's so pushed
like
as
lots of other cultures. Too, right? Yeah. But yeah, I think here in America, it is really, there's so many, now with this like microbrew movement, it's like, let's go to the new microbrew that just opened up and have a couple beers that taste like garbage water.
It really is hard not liking beer. You don't realize how many things are like centered around drinking beer specifically, socially.
Yeah, it's a very social. And I think also in college, I feel like since I like studied so much, I was like pressure on myself to like this is my one day to have a good time, so I'm gonna like make sure of it, and then I'm gonna like pack in all this drinking that I shouldn't be packing in, you know.
Hey, we made it though.
We survived. We survived. I don't know how
either, by the grace of God.
But yeah, right now I'm doing like not a thimble of wine, but a small glass.
Quimby Thimby.
Yeah. And you know what I picked up last night? Because I was like, if I got to finish this episode, I'm having a glass of wine. Have you ever heard of Vino Verde?
Green wine?
It's from Portugal. It's like fizzy. It's not bubbly.
You are like one step away from wine spritzers.
It really is. It's like dry and citrusy, but then it's like a fizz. And it has like a 10% alcohol content, whereas like a Cabernet is like 14.
Yeah, that sounds good.
So it's like lighter. So it's like, and you drink it like ice cold.
Ooh.
So it really is like a wine spritzer.
Yeah,
but without.
I like a spritzer. I like alcohol drinks that don't taste like alcohol. I love a fruity, fun drink.
You would love this.
Love a sugary
I'll
drink.
Get you a bottle one day.
Okay. That sounds good.
Yeah, it's great. I'm loving it. If you've tried this Vino Verde, let me know.
Not us like giving wine recommendations at the top of talking about alcohol addiction.
There's no judgment here.
You're right. There's a way to drink responsibly.
Yeah, there is. And then there's ways to drink
not
responsibly.
Yeah.
And Yeah. So
I also have a alcohol family history. So my mom was always like very worried about me and Lily.
Mm-hmm.
But luckily I can't stomach the stuff. So
I guess there's like family members my parents wouldn't like let me go near because they were alcoholics. So I never like met them.
Nice.
which is nice of them. But they're like, oh yeah, remember Uncle so and so? I'm like, I never met him, and they're like, oh yeah, we made sure of that. I'm like, oh okay, cool. But yeah, let's talk about alcohol use disorder. So there's a couple questions. So little activity for everybody. I'm gonna list like a series of questions that are from like the DSM-5, specifically talking about the alcohol use disorder. Depending on how many you answer yes to, we'll talk about it.
Okay.
So I want you to keep track. And this is just right out of the DSM-5. So just bear with me here because it's very boring and long.
Great.
Within the past 12 months, have you had times where you ended up drinking more or longer than you intended? Have you had more than once wanted to cut down or stop drinking or tried to but couldn't? Have you spent a lot of time drinking or being sick or getting over the after effects of drinking? Have you ever wanted to drink so badly you couldn't think of anything else? Have you ever found that drinking or being sick from drinking often interfered with taking care of your home or family or caused job troubles or school problems? Continue to drink even though it was causing trouble with your family or friends? Have you ever given up or cut back on activities that were important or interesting to you or gave you pleasure in order to drink? Have you ever more than once gotten into situations while after drinking that increased your chances of getting hurt, such as driving, swimming, using machinery, walking in a dangerous area, or having unsafe sex? Have you ever continued to drink even though it was making you feel depressed or anxious or adding to another health problem or having a bad memory blackout? Have you had to drink much more than you once did to get the same effect you want, or found that the usual number of drinks had much less effect than before? And then lastly, have you found that when the effects of alcohol were wearing off, you had withdrawal symptoms such as trouble sleeping, shakiness, restlessness, nausea, sweating, racing heart, or a seizure, or sensed things that weren't there, like a hallucination? So those are the questions that you would be asked for alcohol use disorder. And then depending on how many you say yes to, 2 to 3 symptoms would be a mild alcohol use disorder, 4 to 5 would be moderate, and then 6 or more is severe. And I think it's like, because they also go by like drinks per week, and it's if women have more than 7, and then I think men like more than 10 to 14 or something. I'm forgetting the right numbers, but men for some reason are more. Drinks per week. And then those drinks are, it's either like 1 12-ounce can of beer or like 1 shot of alcohol. So which is kind of hard to gauge because you'll have, I know when I've been like admitting patients and we talk about alcohol, because we want to make sure, we want to get a sense of like, because it will affect anesthesia, it will affect your care in the hospital if you go into the hospital, and if you're an everyday drinker and then all of a sudden you don't drink, you will go through withdrawals.
Do they give them alcohol in the hospital?
I used to work for a hospital who did. Yeah, we'd order beers with meals. I don't think they do that anymore, but
I've heard that they do. I was just watching a TikTok from a woman who works in a hospital who was talking about that.
Yeah, in my very first job at a PA school, the hospital had a 6-pack of Coors Light in the pharmacy for such an occasion.
Which sounds crazy, but if you think about it, going through alcohol withdrawal can kill you. And if you're like there to be treated for something else, it's silly to try to like make you go through withdrawals.
Yeah. The people who aren't going to be there for a while, where it really doesn't make sense to like have them go through withdrawals. So like someone for like a gallbladder surgery where they're probably going to be in the hospital for like a day. You know, you don't want them going into withdrawals, and because they're going to go back out and they're going to drink.
Yeah, so like, what's the point of making them go through that? You can't force someone to become sober.
And then once, when I was a CNA at a bigger hospital, I saw someone who was on an alcohol drip, which is like an IV infusion of alcohol, and that's like super old school. I don't think I'll ever see that ever again.
Jeez,
that guy was he was an ex-boxer. I think he broke someone's clavicle. A nurse.
God. I wonder, like, also how that, like, if that would stop people from going to the hospital in the first place for like something unrelated because they're worried about like going through alcohol withdrawals, you know?
I think some people are worried. Some people try to hide it. So you kind of have to suss out, like, there's questions you can ask, like, do you drink alcohol at home? Like, these are questions we ask everybody. And they're like, oh, like occasionally. And you're like, okay, what's occasionally? And they're like, well, I have a couple beers every night. And you're like, okay, how many? And they're like, oh, like a 6-pack. Okay, like any hard alcohol with that? And they're like, oh, yeah. But yeah, so that's technically the classification for alcohol use disorder. But let's talk about some statistics.
Okay.
Ready?
Yeah.
So alcohol can account for 3.8% of all deaths worldwide.
That is crazy.
Yeah, 3.8 doesn't sound like a lot, but like
for worldwide,
the entire world,
that's millions and millions and millions and millions.
And I
of
wonder
people.
if it's like, I didn't like look into that. Look. I'm sure it accounts for like liver disease as well as like driving incidents.
Yeah, like the long-term effects and the acute effects.
Yeah,
how do they measure that?
I don't know. I'm trying to find out where I got this statistic from because then.
Yeah, can you say your source, please?
I have them all listed, but I also have like 15 sources listed. So alcohol use disorder affects men more than women. And alcohol accounts for 55% of all fatal motor vehicle accidents, which is insane.
55%?
Yes, more than half.
Oh my God.
I know.
And we're just like, yeah, alcohol. Like no movements to kind of change the culture around it or to raise awareness about. Like, talk about a dangerous drug.
Yeah, it's crazy. All
right, here's a conspiracy that's real. That the government obviously doesn't make drugs illegal because they're harmful to us necessarily, because otherwise alcohol would be illegal and shrooms would be illegal. They do it to stop us from expanding our minds. That's not even a conspiracy. That's just kind of a fact. And also for racism. They just want to be able to arrest people for it, get them hooked on these drugs, and then
I also think alcohol is such a huge business. It's going to be impossible to make that
It's like having to do our own taxes, where the companies just
it's too
lobby
big.
For it so
or the American
hard.
Healthcare system.
Yeah.
It's a business that's too big to
insurance.
tackle.
Private insurance.
Yeah. So what does alcohol do to the brain? Well, it does a lot of stuff, but the most well-studied one is it affects the GABA receptors. And GABA is a inhibitory neurotransmitter, and it will bind to neurons at the GABA receptor and make those neurons less excitable. This is where it gets a little confusing, but bear with me here. So alcohol increases the function of GABA, which causes more inhibition and less excitement in the short term.
Okay.
Right? So it increases GABA, which decreases the excitement.
Okay.
So it can make you drowsy. It can make your coordination not as coordinated, right? And there's certain medications that work very similarly. So anti-anxiety medicines like Valium and Xanax affect GABA very similarly. It also affects glutamate, which is it's like the opposite of GABA. It's an excitatory neurotransmitter. So alcohol will inhibit glutamate, causing less excitation, and increase GABA, causing less excitation.
More inhibition.
Okay.
So why is that fun, I guess?
So, yeah. So
I guess to not have inhibition.
Right.
You're not in control of yourself.
You're not really in control of yourself.
Probably, especially for neurodivergent people who are always masking. And so it allows us to let go of this constant self-monitoring.
Something I was going to talk about. Yeah. So so for neurodivergent people, you have that like with social anxiety or anxiety masking, that kind of fight or flight response.
Rejection-sensitive dysphoria.
I was just about to bring that up, rejection-sensitive dysphoria. So alcohol kind of like dulls that, right? And so that can actually, that's why we feel good, and actually can stimulate the dopamine reward pathway, which is what we're always seeking. Yeah. It also can stimulate the release of serotonin. And remember adenosine from our caffeine episode? Adenosine is also an inhibitory neurotransmitter, which can cause sedation. And so alcohol can increase the effects of adenosine.
Speaking of kind of becoming uninhibited when you're drunk, and not masking anymore, when I get drunk, especially like in my early 20s, when I would get really drunk, I would become my most ADHD self.
Yeah.
Which now looking back, I'm realizing like just how much I am masking, not just the autism, but the ADHD of like
for sure.
looking like Ian would always say it about me. I've had different friends, like my friend Nora in Australia. She was a little clingy and she would like get upset with me about it. But it's like I would get drunk and then I, especially with, sorry, I hope you're not listening, Nora. I love you. You're wonderful. But she would try to talk to me about these like really heavy things while we're like at the uni club in Australia. I'm wasted.
Yeah.
I'm just, everything is going on around me. There's music, there's lights, there's sounds. Like all my friends are here. And I'm just like dying, like feel like I'm going to burst out of my skin.
Yeah.
And so normally that's something that I'm masking or I have that feeling. I'm just keeping it inside. But when I get drunk, I'll just like wander off. I'm not looking. I'm not paying attention. Like Ian says it too. And sometimes it's bad because we're like going into an event together and I'll like run off because I see someone I know and kind of just like ditch him.
Yep.
But I'm just so uninhibited that I'm like,
everybody's my friend.
Yeah, I'm not really a runner. I'm a wanderer away. I won't run like you do or Gracie does. I'm not like escaping. I'm just not paying attention to anyone. If the conversation's boring or I see something shiny or exciting or someone I know, I'll just wander away.
Yep.
No regard for social politeness.
Right. The social politeness is out the window. I'm always like trying to find an activity.
Yeah, I'm always looking around. I'm constantly, I'm just so distracted by like everything around me.
Everything's going on. Yeah, conversations I cannot have. I gotta have like a thing to do.
Yes.
I think that's why we used to get in so much like weird shit when we were drunk.
Like fights with men,
Fights with men. And
I kicked a dude's knees out from behind one time at Bullfini's.
Oh, really?
Yeah, kicked the back of his knees because he ran into me with a drink and like sloshed it on me and didn't say sorry, didn't acknowledge me. And so he was walking away from me. And so I kicked him in the back of the knees.
I'm always trying to go dancing.
Yeah,
I'm a big
you love
dancer.
to dance.
I love to dance.
You love to grab at people.
I love
You're very
grabbing
touchy.
People. Yeah, which is not me.
No, I know.
No,
so
I'll steal a hat, which is like,
oh, you love to steal
that was
hats.
like my go-to move, which now I'm like, how the fuck did I not get lice?
Yeah, right? Just stealing gross boys' hats.
I would never.
No.
But I would.
You do,
after a couple glasses of wine. Who knows what I'll do?
Yeah, and I'm really glad that like our wasted versions, we're not like making irresponsible choices. We become hall monitor drunk. We're not driving drunk. We are taking keys out of people's hands. We're throwing them in the woods.
Yeah. Stealing people's cigarettes and throwing them in the trash.
Them on the ground.
Or stomping on them. Yeah. That was really funny.
Kicking people if they break the rules. We're licking people's foods at Five Guys. We're
remember that? Were you there that time we made those guys take their shirts off in the bar and then they had to be like removed from the bar because they were trying to show us their tattoos?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe physically I was there. Mentally, I don't know.
Mentally, no.
I don't remember it, but maybe
I was like, what else do you got for tattoos? That's not a lot as someone who has no tattoos.
You love to antagonize men when you're drunk, and so do I.
Yeah.
It's my favorite thing.
It's unhinged. Kristin is a menace.
Yes, you are a menace.
Christopher has never met Christiche, which is my drunker.
Christiche Unleashed. No, Christopher, you don't know what you're missing, man.
You don't want. She is not.
She is unpredictable.
Mean.
She can be, yeah.
She can be.
Not to friends though.
Not to, no. Never.
Strangers.
I choose.
Just men. Yeah, I mean,
usually men.
Yeah, it's usually men. I mean, I guess sometimes those men are friends with us, but
and we are mean to them.
Yeah. In like a fun, we're having fun. Recreational arguing.
Yeah.
No, but in my head, I'm like, this is bantering.
Exciting.
Yeah. And they're like, Jesus Christ, these chicks are crazy. We're like yelling at those dudes in the bar in Washington about the Patriots.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
With their pregnant friend who yelled at me.
Yeah, the pregnant friend. I forgot about that. That, first of all, we weren't even really drunk.
No, we were on our
buzzed.
way. Yeah.
And she came up to us, and she was also 9 months pregnant. What are you doing in a bar?
Yes. And she overheard me saying something.
You were just complaining about your day.
It had been a long fucking week, and I was chased by a kid with scissors. Someone else threw up Fruit Loops on my desk, and so I was just kind of complaining about.
In the school system is horrible.
Yes.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean you don't care about your job or you don't care about your students.
You're allowed to complain.
That you live in reality. I got to get it out on Friday night so I don't get it out on Monday mornings in the classroom.
Bar.
Yes. And she obviously, this was her first child, so
for sure.
She did not have actual
she was like
experience.
A babysitter, right?
She said she had worked for the Boys and Girls Club. She started like shaming, like randomly over, like listened in on our conversation.
We were having a A-B conversation and she just like came up to our table and she was like, listen to me.
Well, it's because her guy friends were trying to dance with us. And that's why she was so upset.
And they also tried to drink your drink, right? Remember that?
They kept like grabbing us and trying to dance with us. And then it turned out they were like using someone else's tab.
And they got kicked out.
Yeah.
I forgot about that night.
They kept trying to dance with us. She was jealous and she overheard me talking about my ridiculous week. And she said that, you know, you shouldn't be speaking that way and you shouldn't be working with kids if that's how you feel. I was literally just saying like,
I had a rough day and kids
can be
sometimes.
menaces. Yeah. I was literally chased by a kid with scissors. Another kid tried to give me what's the PC term for it? Indian sunburn, which is like that. Oh, that's not okay to call it.
Just, I guess,
twisting my arm skin.
Yeah.
He looked me in the eyes and he said, "I'm not even sorry."
Kids are the worst.
They are monsters. I love them to death, but God, they're menaces.
Deserving of a drink. Right. Yes. That was a weird.
Yeah. She started like going off on me about.
That was such a weird night.
I was like, let me guess, you're pregnant. This is your first kid?
Oh,
and she's like, yeah, it is. I'm like, okay, come back to me in a year. You know?
Yeah. When you're like,
let's talk.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways.
Yeah. So yeah, it does. Yeah. Christiche is
we got to get her out.
No, she's hasn't been out in years.
The last time I saw her, I think, was at my wedding.
Oh, my dad just complimented. He said yours wedding was the best wedding he's been to.
Everyone had the best time.
Yeah. But yeah, it does leave you like really disinhibited. And so, you know, because we are maskers and stuff, it can lead to like, we like that feeling. So, and it's like a little reward, you know, we feel good.
Yeah, we can unleash without feeling that social shame, which is probably also why we feel really intense anxiety the next day. Because it's like, you're thinking back, if you remember, of like all the things you did that normally you would have masked. You're like, fuck, I can't believe I was being so loud. Or I
believe I kicked that guy in the shins.
No, that one I'm like, it's
kind of
good
funny.
job. I kicked that guy in the shins. Oh,
can't believe I threw dog poop at someone's car.
Right? That's when I remember in the morning, I'm like, oh, yeah, sweet. I'm glad I did that.
Or that time we antagonized the police.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I don't have any regrets about that.
No.
Although I don't think I was the main culprit in that one. I think it was
me and Megan.
Megan,
and I didn't even mean to. Megan was sassing them.
Megan
was gaslighting them.
Lucky. She's lucky.
that she's a white college girl.
And so it does leave us like disinhibited and that can lead to like a feel-good feeling in the short term. In the long term, the inhibited neurons can overcompensate, you know, so if you're like dampening the effects of all these neurons, those neurons want to get back to baseline. So they like get even stronger and stronger and stronger. Takes more alcohol to get the same like inhibitory feeling, right? So you drink more and more and more, and then this whole cycle is called tolerance, right? It takes more alcohol or more of the drug to get the same effect. And then, so what does alcohol do to the rest of the body? A lot. It's like, there's so much. So just like nicotine, it does affect every part of your body. In your gastrointestinal system, it can cause gastritis, can cause liver failure. Some people with alcoholism have what's called esophageal varices, which are big varicose veins in your esophagus. And those can bleed, which can lead to like lots of blood loss. For your neurological system, it can cause neuropathies, which is where like the nerves get damaged, especially in your fingers and toes. It can cause a B1 deficiency, which is also called Korsakoff's amnesia, which is like a little dementia. It can cause it increases your chance of having dementia wildly. I forget the God. And then over time just decreases your cognition like permanently.
Yeah.
Increases your chance for cardiac disease or heart arrhythmias. You can have a lot of electrolyte deficiencies like the B1 deficiency and just folate deficiencies. You can get this thing called beer potomania, which is like beer's pretty watery. So you can actually drink so much beer that your sodium levels go down so low that you start to have like what's called hyponatremia, which can lead to like arrhythmias and nerve damage. It greatly increases your risk of getting cancer. There's been a lot of studies with breast cancer and alcoholism. And then when you withdraw, you can get like this thing called delirium tremens, which is like basically a huge seizure, and that can actually lead to death.
God, that's crazy.
Yeah, it's really affects the entire body.
Well, it's a toxin, right?
It is a toxin. Yeah. It's like you're poisoning yourself.
Yeah.
That being said, it's probably not going to stop me. Let's talk about alcohol and ADHD, specifically alcohol use disorder. So 15% of adults with ADHD meet the criteria of alcohol use disorder, which is compared to 5% of adults without ADHD.
That's really high.
That's super high.
Yeah.
Yes. 42% of adults with ADHD report drinking 5 to 6 alcoholic drinks every time they drink, which is basically binge drinking disorder. And that's compared to 21% of adults without ADHD.
Oh my God.
So it's like when we drink, we go big.
We go hard.
Which was like my entire college experience, right? I would do nothing and then I would do everything.
Yes. Yeah. The all or nothing. Well, you're uninhibited too. Yes. So you have one and then it seems like a great idea to have a bunch more.
Right. So yeah, binge drinking is a huge thing with people with ADHD. Alcohol use disorder is the most common substance use disorder with people with ADHD, which I kind of want to check because I'm like, smoking.
Yeah. I wonder if they included smoking in that study.
I'm wondering too.
Yeah.
There was a twin study, which I did link, that found that those with more severe ADHD symptoms were found to start drinking at an earlier age and were more likely and more of a younger age to escalate to heavy use, very similar to smoking, where people with ADHD are more likely to start the onset earlier and progress to heavy use earlier.
That's so crazy. I feel like a lot of us just like don't even stand a chance, you know, like any ADHDer who's addicted to alcohol or any substance. I'm like, I fully get that. Life is really hard for us. And then like your brain is just really latched onto this one thing.
Yeah.
Like what? Of course you don't stand a chance.
Yeah. There's another study called, I'm referring to it as a stop and go study because that's what a bunch of other articles that referred to it, which I do have it linked below. It's in a study in 2009 found that those with ADHD were more susceptible to the disinhibiting effects of alcohol. So it does affect us more. And they made this task where they basically gave those with ADHD and with those without ADHD alcohol, and they made them perform these like series of what they call stop and go tasks, or just like kind of stopping and going tasks, I guess.
Yeah, it's right there in the name.
And they found that in a dose dependent way that the people with ADHD were more impulsive and were more inhibited by alcohol with a less amount of alcohol. So basically they found and proved that like alcohol is more, we feel the effects more as people with ADHD. Another study found that there might be a genetic component where the same genetics that they found that are common in people with like heavy alcohol use disorder are those same genetic markers are found in those people with ADHD. So there may be like a genetic component to that.
I've been saying that this entire time, that whenever people talk about how they have a family history of addiction, it's like you have a family history of ADHD.
Probably.
That comes with higher rates of addiction.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly. So yeah, so not only are we like more affected by it, we're a cheap date, basically. And
which is nice in some ways and bad in others.
Bad in many other ways.
Because sometimes you want to drink just for like the social aspect of having something to hold and something to do. So it's like I kind of wish I could drink more and more, but also you get drunk really easily. So it's pros and cons, you know?
Yeah, pros and cons. Yeah. So, and then we kind of already talked about it, but like why all of this together, like why do ADHDers like alcohol? It does reduce our inhibitions. And as someone with like, you know, ADHDers have a lot of trauma inherently just from being, you know, either undiagnosed or diagnosed and still just living in a neurotypical world. There's social anxiety. There's rejection sensitive dysphoria. There's also that like novelty seeking, you know, where like now you're like disinhibited and like
you want to change your mental state.
Right. So all those combined, you know, we really do like that. And especially that novelty seeking will definitely affect your dopamine reward pathway.
And a lot of ADHDers are also autistic. And so even more so, talk about a hypersensitive nervous system. That would make also sense of why we seem to be so sensitive to it too.
Yeah. And just like smoking, they found that it's harder for people with ADHD to quit alcohol and they feel more of the effects of the day after or withdrawing in general.
I knew it. I knew I was getting more hungover than other people. Like Mo, especially. I remember in her early 20s, she would go out to like a rave on a Thursday night and then stay up till 2 a.m., wake up the next day and go to work in her like health, like her desk job.
Yeah.
I'm like, I cannot not fathom being able to do that.
No,
and like,
could never.
I just like not even making it out of bed, let alone like going to work and functioning. Right. I've never been able to like go to work the next day. Right. I'm calling out 100% of the time. I'm not showing up.
For sure. Although I used to go out for Thirsty Thursdays, but I wouldn't stay out till like 2. I would probably go home at like midnight, and then I had to do all my fish research on Fridays. So I'd show up hungover to the fish lab, which is just fish smelling, and have to sacrifice a bunch of fish and harvest their organs.
That sounds terrible.
Yeah. The postdoc was so funny. He's like, "How you feeling?" I'm like, "Just give me the knife." He's like, "You don't have to do this to yourself." I was like, "I'm here to work. Let's get this over with." Because like once you did all the fish, you were done, right? So I'm like, let's just get this over with and get to work. Whereas everybody else wanted to like sit and chat, and I'm like, let's fucking go.
Focus, people.
Yeah, guys.
Yeah. No, I've never been able to even do that. I'm like so sensitive to it that I'm down for at least the next day. Now it's like a couple days.
Now it's like a couple days. Yeah, that's what I've been finding. And it's not really like the headache, but it's the tiredness. And it's just like the depression. I get so depressed. It's really not worth. If I do more than like a glass of wine, I am depressed the next day. And the next day after that, like it's a full 2 days recovery. It's like really bad. Yeah.
There's just like really a lot of like lethargy.
Lethargy.
I'm very lethargic and just like anxious. I feel like I have ants in my body.
Right. And I don't know if that anxiety is like I'm not letting myself just rest. I think
I always let myself rest.
Right.
That's something I'm very good at. I will rest.
I think like on vacation or something, like I have time to rest. So we rest. And so I feel great drinking on vacation because we got time to rest. But on like a regular weeknight or a weekday,
well, you're not getting enough sleep as it is,
right?
And now studies are showing, now that they're finally studying women, that women need 9 to 10 hours of sleep a night. You're getting like 5 sometimes.
About 5.
That's crazy.
Average.
You're getting half of what your brain needs.
And then if I'm on call, I get calls in the night, and it's just not.
I don't know how you're even functioning.
Not well, but here I am.
Here you are somehow.
We're surviving.
Technically, you're alive, yeah.
But yeah, so, and also just like smoking. If we're talking about like moving forward, how do we like move forward from this? I think it's a very personal journey for everybody. So I don't want to tell anybody like what to do. I don't even know how to get help, what to do with therapy, all of that. I feel like it's like so personal. And I think a lot of it is like self-reflection and I don't know. I don't
need to be ready to do it. No one else can like tell you to do it.
No one else can tell you to do it. I think it's really personal because there's a lot of factors. Like it's so ingrained in there's a lot of social, like people will lose friends because they become sober, you know?
Like imagine being a recovering meth addict and then you go, any party you go to, everyone's casually doing meth.
Yes, exactly.
It's like, and also imagine, it really is crazy when you think about it, like just how addictive alcohol is, how bad it is for our bodies, our mental states, like that we just culturally, it's so normal that we drink it. But like, yeah, imagine if all of those super addictive, heavy drugs, heroin, meth, cocaine, like imagine if they were all casually consumed. And so it wasn't like we said in our other addiction series, part of the reason why we're not addicted to meth is literally just because we've never even tried it. We don't want to know what it feels like.
Don't even know what it feels like.
Imagine if it was just super normal in your culture to start trying a little bit of meth when you're like 16, 18.
And it is for some people, like, you know, it depends on what you're exposed to.
Exactly.
Like if you have a parent who's using, then it is around and, you know, and maybe you do want to try. So it totally, it's, I don't want to tell anybody what to do.
Yeah.
I think it's a personal journey. And, you know, like I like drinking wine. Like I like a good glass of red wine, you know?
Yeah.
I think And if you were to talk to me like even like 5 years ago, I think this would be a completely different conversation where, you know, it would be really different.
Definitely. Life stage has a lot to do with it too.
For sure.
Like in college, it's so normalized, especially
UMaine, drinking capital of Maine, for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
Our dry campus.
It's so funny that they even try to say that.
Yeah, good luck.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a really personal journey. But like nicotine, studies have shown that treatment for ADHD is like pretty much crucial for trying to quit or cut down.
Yep.
And there is a really good article, which also linked below, about treating with atomoxetine, also known as Strattera, with comorbid alcohol use disorder. And basically they said like, wow, isn't it great when we treat the ADHD first before the alcohol? Basically, that's what it said. And we'll have another episode about like substance use disorder in treatment, but so I'll probably reference that again. But I do think that like for, you know, talking about our culture, at least here in America, we do have like a big drinking culture. We have a lot of like craft beers. We have bars. You go out west, there's like all these vineyards.
And we don't have a lot of like third spaces that aren't based around alcohol, like especially in our culture. Like other countries, everyone goes out after work and they hang out in the parks and like it's this big social thing. For us, we don't really have that unless you're going to either get like coffee or alcohol. It's very drinks based.
Consumer
based.
Yeah. But I do think on the horizon that may change. There's like big movements going around, like sober curious is becoming a thing where people are kind of exploring sobriety. There's also something called locally sober, which I really like, where like at home you like when you're just like your day to day going to work, coming home from work, you're sober, but if you're like on vacation or like celebrating a big thing, you'll have like a drink.
Well, I think drinking alone too is also one of those kind of flags for maybe it becoming a bit of a problem if you're doing it alone.
Yeah.
So
I think there's been a really, especially within the past, like, I don't know, 3 years, there's been a big push on non-alcoholic beers. Like Heineken has made one, Bud Light has made one, Busch has made, I think, one. There's also a brand called Athletica. And then like mocktails are becoming a thing. There's non-alcoholic wines. I think there really is like products for sober curious, sober people. I think there's more of an environment. And I think from what I've seen, I guess, is it's just like, and maybe it's because I'm at like a different life stage than I was in my 20s. But I do really believe that there's more like space. It's not as taboo. If you're like, oh, I don't drink, I think maybe, and maybe I'm wrong.
It depends on the group you're with.
I think it depends on the group, but I think there is like, they don't drink. And I think it's just like, okay, like they're allergic to peanuts. Don't give them peanuts.
Yeah.
They don't drink. Don't give them alcohol, you know?
Yeah, it
like,
does feel
it's
lot
not
more
like
normalized.
this like taboo thing.
Or like, come on.
Just try a bit. Yeah.
I also feel like the cannabis industry maybe has contributed a bit to that, where it's like now we have this other thing that people do socially that some of like the stigma, I mean, it's still there quite a bit, but it has kind of lessened and it's more socially acceptable. And so I feel like that as well has made people a bit more chill about not drinking. Like there are other substances that you can partake in, you know?
It's always
like
a different substance.
I know weed, you're still smoking something, but it is way, way less harmful than alcohol. And that really is the thing that kind of got me to stop drinking. It's like I was clearly looking for something fun to do to alter my brain space, but alcohol wasn't the best thing for me. It was just kind of what was there. And then I discovered weed and I was like, oh, yeah, I like this better and I don't feel like shit the next day.
Yeah. And I think, you know, just having like a community and a support system is the biggest thing. You know, there's this lady, she does have her own business, so disclaimer here, but she's from Australia, Faye Lawrence. She has her own website, faylawrence.com.au. And she is sober, she's recovering, and has kind of built this platform in this space for people with ADHD who are either sober curious or looking to find out things about sobriety, are sober. She's kind of like built this space. And I think she even has like events that are sober events to just kind of hold space for. Nice. She was on a podcast, which I think I have linked. And she was kind of saying like, yeah, there aren't a lot of, because when you go meet out with friends, you meet at a bar or you meet at a coffee shop, right?
Yep.
Usually at night it's a bar, so there's not a lot of space for people who are sober curious, locally sober, and so she's attempting to build that.
Nice.
She also has like a product, like a coaching product.
Yeah.
So disclaimer, but yeah, there's also SAMHSA, which is SAMHSA, which is a organization that supports addiction of any substance along with mental health, supporting research for that. We talked about it in a different episode, but basically it supports research regarding mental health and addiction and like the comorbidity between mental health disorders and substance use. It has, a bunch of resources you can use. There's a crisis helpline that you can text. I believe it's like 988 that you can text, you can call if you're like in a state of crisis. There's also, we kind of briefly talked about this, but there's AA, which is like the most documented. It is like religiously based, which is like,
it's religiously based, and it has the same effectiveness rates as if you were just doing it on your own. I know it has certain benefits for certain people, but like we've talked about before, it is that all or nothing approach. And I don't really, I've heard from a lot of people who were in AA and then they kind of discovered other communities that were more about like being sober curious or more of like allowing for nuance. Like if you've gone 3 years without drinking and then you slip up and you have a glass of wine at a wedding, for AA, the belief is like, well, now you're starting back again at zero. It's like, no, you've been sober for 3 years and that deserves to be recognized and celebrated. And it like, what will that do to you mentally to be like, I fucked everything up, I'm such a fuck up and I threw away 3 years. Like, no, you just had 1 day of drinking in the last 3 years is incredible.
I think why AA works is because it is like one of the only places that does provide, and this is it's been going on for like a while, but it does provide that sort of community that people are looking for.
And that's what is effective.
And that's
is the
what's
community.
effective. Not the actual program itself, but the having the community. So, I think it'll be interesting in the next coming years, like what happens, especially with this younger generation that is more sober than the millennial. Gen Z for sure is way more sober than the millennials. And
to the point where I feel like they can be a little too much, like a little too puritanical and judgy about it. I feel like it's hard to find this middle point. That's also comes with youth of thinking that like you know best, you know better than the generations before you.
They'll figure it out.
I think they'll figure it out, but it's
fine.
It's nice that they are leaning towards more.
I'm excited to see where this Gen Z takes us because I think that they're spicy, and I think that I'm excited.
I'm scared of Gen Alpha. I don't know what they'll do to us.
Yeah, I'm scared of both.
They're all a threat.
I'm just scared.
I'm just scared in general. There's also quite a few Reddit groups.
Yes.
For talk about building community. Yeah, there are a lot of Reddit groups that you can check out if you're interested in kind of you're sober curious or you just are thinking about it. I guess that would be sober curious. But there's r/sober, r/sober curious, r/sober life pro tips, r/sober and hate it. There's lots of different options depending on kind of what you're looking for. You can be sober and hate it, as long as you're sober.
Sucks.
You can be mad about it. It does suck. Like, that sucks.
Yeah. We don't care if you do drugs or drink or smoke. Whatever. We just care if you got to do it responsibly, right? Don't
we
drink
care about
and drive.
Your health. Yeah.
Don't,
oh God.
Yeah. Don't, use safe practices, with whatever drug you use, even caffeine, don't overdo it. So you're like in the emergency room with a arrhythmia because you drank 4 bangs in a day.
Yes. We care about your health.
We care about your health.
Not in a judgy way.
We're not judging. And that's the whole point of these episodes is to kind of not only highlight, kind of like the uphill battle that ADHD has with substance use, but also to just kind of share in more of like a matter of factual way, as well as like personal experiences with some things. Just struggles and effects.
Allow you to make informed choices for yourself.
Exactly.
There's also a lot of people on TikTok also. Sometimes I'll watch them for a long time of people who are getting sober who are just like, a 24-year-old woman who's like a school teacher. Like it's truly, you have no idea what anyone is going through.
Exactly.
And there are these wonderful communities of just, someone sharing their personal experience, asking for help, asking for tips. There's there are so many different ways to build community, and really treating your ADHD and underlying symptoms and trauma, and acknowledging that like the substance is as a result of these other things. So kind of address those, and also building community. Really, the more we have community, the less you need to kind of rely on this substance.
Right.
So yeah, anyway,
but
you can get
drugs
it.
are fun.
And also that's the thing. Drugs are
sometimes
fun.
drugs can be real fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's all about moderation. And like, this is maybe not great to say, but the less you do it, or the more like in control you feel about your use, the more carefree and guilt-free you can feel when you do kind of let loose and have a night where you're kind of wanting to do some drugs or wanting to drink or whatever, you know?
Yeah, I think there's a time and a place. Everybody has their own experience. We're not here to shame anybody. We're not here to tell you what to do. We're just kind of like shedding light on facts and then our own personal experiences. This is not like a, you should
intervention.
Be doing,
intervention.
Yeah, exactly. I think especially with alcohol, because it's so ingrained in our society. I think I think there's a time and a place. Champagne toast.
Yeah.
I think it's,
But also, if, there are certain people that do need to do the all or nothing thing, where it's like, once I have a little sip of it, now I'm uninhibited, and now I'm gonna, have a ton
and it
of
can
glasses.
be really problematic, you know? So,
But also, you can be sober and still, like you said, occasionally participate in the champagne toast, and that doesn't mean that you're not sober. Like, I think, once again, it's that kind of AA mindset of all or nothing, where you make it, and we know that it's kind of basic psychology of, if you restrict this thing, you put it up on a pedestal.
Exactly.
Of, ooh, you can't have that because that's so special and so crazy, and so then that's all you think about and you're obsessed with it.
Yeah.
Whereas if you like are allowed to participate in certain, depending on how you are with alcohol, everyone is different. Is really what it comes down to. You're right. Yeah. Everyone's different, and you're not gonna quit drinking through shame. Like that's not the way to go about it. So there's really no point in feeling shame. You're doing what is right for you right now and what you need to do. And I guess the more information you have, the more you can kind of make your own choices.
Exactly. The biggest thing is drink responsibly.
Yeah. And really don't drink and drive.
Please don't drink and drive.
Pay for
that.
Uber.
That's where I will judge you.
Yes,
if you're drinking and driving, you're putting other
lives.
people's at risk.
Yes.
It's never selfish. The driver who dies, unfortunately. Well, no, that's mean of me to say, but it's like, it's always the other people who end up in like the worst situation. But please don't drink and drive. Don't do drugs and drive, whatever. Same with like marijuana and cocaine, heroin, methamphetamines. If you're going to do any sort of drug, please get an Uber driver.
Yeah, stay off the roads.
Please be safe about it.
Yeah.
That's So interesting reading this. I didn't know that ADHDers were just like more affected by it, but it kind of makes sense,
Yeah, it definitely makes sense. And why we're so like taken by it too, so many of us.
Yeah.
I'm so grateful that I'm a super taster, because like if I liked the taste of alcohol or didn't physically gag at it, who knows what would have happened. I'm like so glad I'm so physically resistant to it.
I always thought that was weird that you really like, even like the fruity drinks you didn't really like.
If I can taste even the tiniest bit of alcohol,
I know,
and I can taste it.
It all makes sense now, but like I remember being like in college, I'm like, she's being dramatic, but
no.
You can like,
and that's the thing. Ian will always be like, "Oh, you got to try this mixed drink. You can't even taste the alcohol." I'm like, "I promise you, I can, and I will." And he's like, "No, you can't even taste it." I'm like, "I promise you, I can, and I will." And I've stopped even attempting. So
what I really
even if I just smell it, it'll make me gag. And he's like, "Oh, really?" I'm like, yes. When will you acknowledge that I have a different sensory system than you?
Remember the scorpion bowls at Hong Kong?
Oh my God. Those were incredible. See, I could crush 5 of those.
It's like a scorpion. For those of you who don't know, there's a place in Boston called Hong Kong.
It's incredible.
They have scorpion bowls, which just means it's every white liquor you can find dumped in a bowl, mixed with some sort of juice.
Yeah, punch, something very sugary and fruity and delicious.
It tastes like rainbows.
Yeah.
And
they have it in this huge bowl,
thing. You're supposed to share it with people.
Yeah.
Like several people.
Yeah.
Like I would say 6 or more.
Depending on...
It's so strong.
Yeah, it is very strong.
And it's so good that it just goes down so easily.
Oh, I know. You, Megan, and I would be sucking those down.
Crushing those.
They're so good.
Remember that like Santa pub crawl where had my school friends come, and I bought them a Scorpion Bowl, and the three of them, just three, one, two, three, grown men, chugged it within 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And I just go, what have you done?
Yeah, that's like a sipping drink.
I was like, you guys are going to be real fucked up. And they're like,
and they were.
They were. Yeah. Not one of them made it. No. Little Mike made it.
Yeah, he made it to the end of the night. But God, you got to be a strong soldier to make it through all of Stand Up Pub Crawl. I miss those days. Yeah. It would start at like
4:30.
I think it started earlier. It started at 1, I think.
Well, people would pregame. No, it started at 4, and people would pregame at like 1.
Yeah.
Which is like, why are you pregaming for a pub crawl?
Yeah. And we would stay up. No, I think some years it started 1 because it would go 1 to 1, essentially. We would be going like all day.
That's wild.
That's crazy.
It's a marathon of drinking.
Yes. It's a lot. And we would make it every year. We made it.
Almost all of us. Because there was like 1 year where like Megan's friend didn't make it because she was wearing high heels.
Oh, yeah. And then she like threw up red all over the hotel room. And then she thought she had thrown up blood, but it was just cranberry
And then
juice.
she also got trapped in the closet.
Oh,
Remember that?
I was like, how does the closet come into play? Yeah, she was stuck in the closet.
She was stuck in there and didn't know how to get out.
Like Danny DeVito in that episode of It's Always Sunny where he's on LSD and he gets stuck in the toilet.
Yeah. Funny looking back on it, kind of horrifying. It's hard to see someone throw up red and not be like, oh, we should take you to the hospital.
Yeah. She was a champ.
She was a champ.
Yeah.
But yeah, so drink responsibly.
We're just telling stories of how much fun drinking is, really. We got a bunch of kids on board with drinking. Yeah. Like, that sounds cool.
But then like the next day, you really had to plan for it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Because like the next couple days, you're going to be like a mess.
Yes. It was rough.
Yeah.
It was hard, but we soldiered on. And for every fun drinking story we have like about 10 others.
Non-fun.
Where someone threw up, someone ran away, someone had to go be rescued from something.
Remember when
got just thrown up on?
Yeah.
Remember what?
Well, now I'm mad because I'm remembering that story got thrown up on.
Oh, with Paul? Yeah.
And then he ran away.
Yeah.
God, that was a horrible night. Because I was the driver. I wasn't even...
That's the other thing that's hard about being sober. It's not just like that there's peer pressure and like social pressure about you drinking. It's that really drunk people are so annoying. They're so fucking annoying.
Because he ran away. He went to go sit next to the water, which is like what you shouldn't do when you're drunk.
Yeah, that's how men go missing.
Men go missing because they just want to be near the water.
Yeah, they feel called to the sea.
Yeah.
I guess.
Well, you got to bleep her name out, okay?
Okay.
Because... So remember when just texted me numbers back when we were talking? And I had to like detective my way to figure out where she was. I was like calling everybody she was near or everybody I knew she was with that night to figure out what party she went to. Because of course she didn't really tell me.
Yeah.
She just went. And then I show up in like pajamas to this house party. And I just get in there and I just go, where is she? This is very like a
Mom's mad.
Yeah. And they're like, I'm like, there's a girl. She's vomiting everywhere. I want to know where she is. And they're like, I don't know. I saw a girl go into that room. I'm like busting down the doors. I'm like, what room? And they're like, oh, I don't know. So I just open up all these doors in the house and I finally find her and she's just covered in her own vomit. And I'm like,
was that the night she came home like scream vomiting?
There was one night she got really mad at me. Remember that night? And I kicked her door in.
Yeah.
Because I got mad at her.
Yeah.
Because she got mad at me.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Because I was just trying to be a good DD. Once again, totally sober.
Yeah.
Just getting mad.
Yeah. Drunk people are like little petulant children. Worst. Yeah. There was the other night where Megan crept into Eileen's bedroom and took her teddy bear out of her arms while she was sleeping and threw it on the ground. Speaking of petulant children.
Oh my gosh, she's so funny.
Megan is such a defiant drunk.
So funny.
So funny.
Oh my God.
Good times. But yeah, drink responsibly.
Drink responsibly.
Yeah.
We have our funny stories, but then there's also like a lot of terrible stories too.
Oh yeah.
Where you're just like, I feel terrible, or I did this thing and I'm so embarrassed, or I threw up everywhere.
Or like, I can't believe I survived that.
Right.
Or like, probably shouldn't have done that.
Or like getting the spins. Oh, that's the worst.
I know, it's the thing. I get so nauseous so easily.
Yeah. I only have had the spins like once or twice.
Oh, I get them all
and it
the
was
time.
like and I remember
You
we
could put
had
your
it.
feet on
Remember
the
that
floor.
house we lived at across the street from McDonald's that was like imploding on itself?
Yeah, the cardboard
yeah,
house.
cardboard house.
Yeah.
Trying to go up those stairs with the spins.
God. Those
Hell
are the
no.
steepest stairs of all time.
I think I just fell down them. And then
Like
I think
Eileen
I had
every
to,
morning.
someone had to drag me up there. I forget who, but I just tried. I think I just like straight up fell backwards.
Oh
like
my
how I
God.
didn't die, I don't know. But
Yikes.
yeah, well, that's what you get when you live in a house of cardboard.
Yep. That is what you get.
Yeah. All right.
All right.
Should we? Well, this has been our episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I hope you enjoy it. If you have any
tips and tricks,
if you have any conspiracy theories you want to talk
yeah.
about, if you want to follow us on Finch and become our friends, and then we can have good tracking habits
we've been
together.
recording this episode for so long, I forgot what we've been talking about.
Yeah.
That was hours ago.
Hours ago. We did have to take a mini break.
Person had to take a phone call in the middle of recording.
Yeah.
2 phone calls, actually.
2, yeah. I'm a very important person.
You are.
Yeah, or if you have a story to share. I think one of our listeners wanted to reach out and kind of share their story. If you're willing to do that, sure.
Yeah.
But
you can remain anonymous if you
remain
want.
anonymous. If you want to offer any sort of support to our podcast, because we do this all for free, you can go to our Patreon. You can donate us coffee money at ko-fi.com/weirsof-a-feather.
Yeah.
Nailed it.
They said you couldn't do it.
Yeah.
They said it couldn't be done.
I'm a professional.
You are. 200 episodes later, you're locked in.
Locked in.
Yeah.
You can follow, subscribe. You can interact with us on all the socials. Anything supports us. We enjoy all of it. And anything will help us keep this horse train moving.
Yeah.
Other than that,
you got a bod for us?
I got a bod.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Nice bod.
I want your bod. This bod is called the common nightingale, which we all know and love. It's like a little brown bird.
It's very common.
Yeah. Hence the name. This one, so this is from Google AI. So bear with me here, but this
shouldn't be using that.
Well, it is what it is.
All right.
So this bird can sing for over an hour without repeating the same tune. They can be heard up to 1 kilometer away on a quiet night.
Ooh.
And they build their ground nesters. They don't even live in trees. They live in the ground.
Bold.
Yeah.
Bold of them.
Exactly. So let's listen. Where'd I put that thing?
Put that thing back where I keep from. So help me. So help me.
God fucking damn it.
She's out of our hair. Wow, that was pretty good. It's more of like a game of the Simon Says game where you have to remember the order of it.
Right.
It's not even just about the imitation. It's about remembering the pattern. Do it again. I don't know. That was good. You know what? I think you got it on this one.
Got it.
I think this is out of my wheelhouse.
This is a complex one.
Yeah. And you got to make your eyes really big and wide while you do it, like you're doing.
And stare at unblinking contact.
Yeah. Just like
eye contact. Not unblinking contact.
Unblinking contact.
Yeah.
Ooh. It's like a complicated code.
I know. It's like a computer bird.
I know. Got such a song in its heart. I can do that one. Pretty good.
We're professional bird callers.
Yeah. All right.